Now, when I
Oh,
should touch on the contrast between Bali and
oh, yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
so basically, I went to Bali for my second time. I like Bali. It's a beautiful. It's a Hindu
Oh,
nation. You have people who are very also offering gratitude to gods,
Mm.
which you can feel that gratitude and beautiful. Um,
There's definitely lots of tourists there for sure.
that's the
Yeah,
drawback for
yeah.
me personally,
Mm.
especially in areas that are very popular like Kuta, Legian, Seminyak, Canggu now.
Yeah,
Even Ubud now is damaged, and I use the word damage
yeah. Tell us a
because
bit more about why you refer Ubud as damage.
not just Ubud, the area that I described down there, and they're on the south part of Bali. Northern part of Bali is still kind of fresh, is
Mm.
more untouched, is nature
Mm.
and the beaches that you used to have in Bali maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Mm.
But now what I say it's damage is because the energy that most of the Western tourists bring, especially the younger ones
Mm.
who come there with a degree of arrogance
Mm.
and disrespect for the local culture. They go there to get drunk, take drugs, behave in a destructive, promiscuous manner. It's
Mm.
really damaging the vibe. It's very
Mm.
damaging the locals and the local culture. And you can see in some of the areas of like Kuta and Seminyak, I've seen locals adapting these behavioral patterns. They're becoming a bit
Mm.
hostile, tattooed and drinking. I see them. It's the influence that the energy has on the environment.
Makes sense. Make complete
And
sense.
I had this feeling in my intuitive center that it is a very invasive negative force that is a corrosion on the local peaceful Balinese cultural influence.
Mm.
Because I could still feel when I traveled through Bali, especially when I went to Ubud or a little bit remote areas, the locals are very friendly. They smile. It's a genuine smile.
Mm.
It's a very welcoming smile. It's like when the time slows down a little bit, although it's very busy and very crowded,
Mm.
which is not my cup of tea. But
Mm.
there are areas in Bali which are beautiful. But it's just the Western influence, especially from people who are a little bit from a lower socioeconomical background. They're gonna just go quote unquote go nuts in
I heard
Bali.
there's a lot of
There
Australians.
is local, especially
Yeah.
young ones. There is
Mm.
also from I think Russia now that
Oh,
they
really?
misbehave, and even Europeans
Mm.
did desecrate some of the temples. They just take pictures there with bikinis, and which is not
Yeah,
appropriate
it's
for
very,
many.
yeah, exactly.
No religion or spiritual movement has this kind of allowance
Mm.
for their religious, spiritual, sacred practices and places.
Mm.
So that's one thing.
And I heard they also trash lots of what is it called, the beaches, like
Yes,
they don't look after the beaches, they
it's quite dirty there.
yeah.
Not in Nusa Dua, but they were private beaches.
Oh, that's
Like
really good.
hotels, 5-star, 4-star
Mm.
hotels. That's a different thing. It was beautiful, well maintained. The rest was okay, but it was a bit dirty, and the water wasn't the best quality.
Oh, that's a
But
shame.
that being said, now I'll contrast it with Lombok.
Mm.
Lombok, in my view, when it comes to nature, is much, much better.
Mm.
You feel as soon as you touch down, you start driving on Lombok roads, you feel this open energy. There's not
Wow.
many buildings, there's not especially not many tourists, not that
Mm.
many hotels. The nature is open, the mountains are visible from the horizon. The roads quality is actually really good for Lombok. It,
Wow.
it felt like there was no holes. It's all nicely, the signpost is good, the lines on the roads, and the traffic is lower and less than in
Mm.
Bali. It flows smoother. The beaches are nicer as well. It's bigger, longer.
Really? Wow.
Some of them are a little bit dirty, but some of them are beautiful. And it reminded me a little bit of Ampat Raja.
Empat
These
Raja, yeah.
like East Islets and sort of.
Have you
Uh,
been to Empat Raja?
no, it's on my list
Okay.
at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
So Lombok is, and it's a lot more traditional.
Mm.
It felt a little bit backwards in terms of development because the
Mm.
tourism is not there yet. So the
Mhm.
infrastructure, I mean, the infrastructure was good, but the buildings, the investment is not there as
So
yet.
it's still like kampungan
A
kind
little
of
bit
thing.
like Kampung. Mataram, I went to visit Mataram, which is the capital city of Lombok.
Mm.
It looked similar to Denpasar, but some areas were a little bit run down. I like the old town, Kutatua. But you can feel that the Lombok is slightly backwards in development. On the other hand, the nature and the authenticity is present and is higher than Bali.
Oh,
I
okay.
felt from my observation and energies that I feel in my intuitive center, like
Mm.
that Lombok is what Bali used to be maybe 20, 30 years ago. that beautiful natural center where you just enjoy the nature for what it is. Locals. It's also a Muslim island, so it's a little bit more stricter in terms of what's allowed, but it's still.
So how does that restrict you to do whatever you need to do? Like,
For example, alcohol is not easy to get there.
Okay,
Not that
wow.
I was looking for it, but
Wow.
it's local shops don't really
Interesting.
sell it. Also, the tolerance perhaps for certain type of behavior wouldn't be allowed. But luckily, there was not many foreigners.
Okay.
We drove around the island. You don't see many foreigners.
Wow. So it's still
So
enclosed.
it's
kind
the
of-
beautiful, closed community, and if you want to experience that Indonesian nature, beaches, ocean, there's a beautiful volcano. Bali has as well. It has two, but this one was even more untouched, and there's less because the size of Lombok and Bali are
So you've taken pictures and videos of this because we're gonna.
Yes, I have
put them up as
some on I took.
Hmm.
I have the size is similar, but Bali has about close to 5 million people, foreigners 4.7, whereas Lombok has only 3 million. So
Wow.
there's a bit more space and less people. And then finally was Gili Islands, which is beautiful. It's probably the best, or one of the best beaches I've been to. It's very clean. You
Really?
can go to the water wherever you want. You have
So it's still
access.
preserved.
It's
like
preserved.
that
Yeah,
natural
there's many
state.
boats that are docked around there because it's a very densely populated small island. But the beaches you can go and swim wherever you want. The water was beautiful, lukewarm, and was just
I
it
need
was
that.
very welcoming and clean. You can snorkel. You can snorkel with turtles.
Really?
There is, especially between Gili Air and Gili. What's the other one? Mana or Mano. Gili Mano. There is this strait where you can go and snorkel with turtles.
Huh.
The water
So
is
it's like
cleaner
an
than Bali.
enclosed kind of.
No, it's open. It's an open
okay.
island,
Right.
and you can go and there's areas where you can snorkel and see the fish and turtles.
Oh wow.
So it's a very clean water, and it's a good one. The only problem I personally had is because it's a small island and densely populated. There's many tourists on Gili. That's one thing I wasn't that keen, but I have to say the energy from the tourists in Gili Island was different. Many Westerners, but they were Europeans mostly. Yeah, I only met one couple from Australia because everything is small. Streets are very narrow. Shops are small. You hear accents. There's
true.
definitely many Spanish, French speaking, German. There was some language I didn't recognize. I would say probably Scandinavia or my part of the world. I actually met a couple from my
From
country,
Slovakia.
from Slovakia.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was another from Czech Republic. But the way I view it, without offending anyone, the energy was better from perspective these people or foreigners or tourists behave in a more respectful way.
That's awesome. I guess those guys had the same intuitive or intention as you to coming to that.
I didn't see
you
many
know.
drunk people, though I went to have a look and walk through the main hub in Gili, where the bars were and restaurants. So that was a good experience, but still quite busy and many tourists. But it was a better vibe than Bali, for me personally, because it's you can relax, you can connect with the
More
nature.
natural kind
More
of.
natural.
Yeah.
But one thing that I found a little bit personally is because in Indonesia, habit is for people to burn the rubbish quite often.
Oh yeah, but the
Yeah.
yeah.
And because it's a small island, densely populated, often what happened is people would burn, especially locals, they would burn the
Yeah.
rubbish in the backyard.
That's true. Yeah.
So often you will smell the smoke
Yeah.
in the air.
You know what's funny? Guys? Like Indonesia being so hot and dense in humidity, right? How is it don't have bushfires? Like, like currently what's happening in US and in Australia.
Yeah, I think it's because it has high level of humidity.
Because
and high
we burn our rubbish in our backyard.
Yeah, but because it rains a lot in Indonesia,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's on
true.
the equator,
Yeah.
and so it's humid, so it's quite wet.
Yeah.
Probably
true.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
as dry as you have in California or more like in
Or
Bali,
Australia.
so
Yeah. True.
that probably explains why. Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's very
Yeah.
interesting. So, I guess we'll conclude there for today of our topic on of Peter's travel so far, and we'll touch base with you guys soon. But before we go, please follow, share, like, comment. We'll be putting up a YouTube channel where we can put all of our contents as well as full videos of our discussions of different topics that we will be what is it called, touching base on as well, and talking about, and as well as Peter's journey of I guess your
My travels,
travels,
because I have some travels that I've completed, and we will have podcasts about those. And I'm also starting my channel on Instagram, Stories Beyond Frontiers.
So follow him, guys. It's called
Yes, Stories Beyond Frontiers. I think I'll be tagged in the video description in this podcast. It is in a very early stage, so I'll be updating it as we go, because I have material.
You have lots of materials.
I accumulated through my travel, so I'll be updating it regularly.
Yeah.
And it will also be updated with the podcast and little snippets that we cut out from the podcast. And so if you just be patient, maybe in 2-3 months it will be up and running. It's already there, but it doesn't have much content as yet. But if you can and follow, that'll be great.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
And we'll see you in the next video.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.